Welcome to VOD Recaps. In our story, an elderly gentleman named John Kramer grapples with the harsh reality of brain cancer. His days are consumed by medical tests and meetings with his cancer support group. Despite repeated testing, the prognosis remains grim. John has at most a year to live, perhaps even just a few months. His doctor suggests retirement, but John perceives this as a directive to quietly accept his fate. Departing from the doctor's office, John pauses at a water fountain and observes a custodian poised to steal from a patient with a broken hand. In an unexpected twist, the scene shifts dramatically. The custodian finds himself bound to a chair, a bizarre device affixed to his face and hands. A deep, ominous voice announces the commencement of a game. It is revealed that John Kramer is, in fact, the notorious Jigsaw, a murderer known for ensnaring those he deems sinners in sadistic traps. These traps are not only punitive but also test the victim's desire to live. The custodian is presented with a harrowing challenge: turn a control dial up 5 levels within 60 seconds or face a gruesome fate where a vacuum will extract his eyeballs. As the clock ticks, the custodian frantically turns the dial, each rotation breaking one of his fingers. Despite his agonizing efforts and screams of pain, he fails to complete the task in time, and the vacuum gruesomely fulfills its threat. However, the narrative takes another turn, revealing that this horrific scene was merely a figment of John's imagination, with the custodian harmlessly returning items to their place. 4 months later, John, now preparing his will in a cafe, encounters Henry from his support group. Henry shares his miraculous recovery from cancer, attributed to an experimental treatment combining novel medication and a surgical procedure marked by a significant scar. This treatment, not yet approved in the United States and shrouded in controversy due to evasion from the big pharma mafia, piques John's interest. Henry provides John with a website for further research. Back home, John delves into interviews with the doctor responsible for the treatment and discovers a video from the doctor's daughter, Cecilia. She reveals her father's concealment, but continues his work. John reaches out to her and soon receives an invitation to travel to Mexico for treatment. Upon his arrival in Mexico, John is greeted by Diego, a taxi driver who guides him through popular tourist destinations before venturing into rural areas. Their journey is abruptly interrupted by a van blocking the road, from which armed, masked men emerge, threatening John until his identity is confirmed. Assured he is the intended passenger, they escort him to a clandestine facility, where he is welcomed by the housekeeper, Gabriela. Settling in, John meets Cecilia, who explains the van incident as a security measure against pharmaceutical industry interference. She introduces John to the facility's staff: Carlos, the caretaker's son, Mateo, the anesthesiologist, Valentina, the nurse, and Parker, another patient who has just completed his treatment and wishes John well. Valentina conducts routine medical tests on John, after which he and Cecilia discuss his treatment. Curious about John's profession, Cecilia inquires, to which John responds that he transitioned from engineering to aiding people in overcoming their internal struggles. In the stillness of the night, John Kramer is roused by a disturbance outside. Investigating, he discovers Carlos struggling with a bicycle repair. John lends his expertise, and amidst their interaction, he learns the Spanish word for pull. The following day marks a pivotal moment for John as he undergoes surgery. The procedure, an awake craniotomy, requires John to be semi-conscious, allowing surgeons to interact with him and ensure his brain functions remain unharmed. During the operation, John momentarily regains consciousness and successfully wiggles his fingers upon request. The narrative takes a dark turn with Valentina, whose head is ensnared by ropes and thick wires. Her attempts to disentangle herself only intensify her pain. John confronts her with a macabre choice. She has been trading her body for survival, but now she must persuade a teammate to sacrifice themselves in her stead or face death as the wires constrict around her neck. Despite her pleas, her teammates dismiss her predicament as a bluff. As time expires, the wires tighten lethally around Valentina. Gabriela's ordeal follows. She awakens in a room scattered with drugs, a bomb strapped to her chest. John accuses her of poisoning her body with narcotics, presenting her with a dire choice between her addiction and her life. Overcome by her dependency, Gabriella succumbs to the drugs, triggering the bomb and sealing her fate. Matteo finds himself in a separate room, a device affixed to his head. John condemns him for misusing his medical expertise for nefarious purposes, challenging him to perform self-surgery to extract a key that would release him. Despite his efforts, Matteo fails and the device claims his life. Cecilia's trial is the climax. She awakens to a live feed of her daughter held captive. John accuses her of defrauding others for money, now forcing her to choose between her life and her daughter's. In a desperate bid to save both, Cecilia ultimately sacrifices herself, resulting in her daughter's release. In the aftermath, John departs from the facility, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. He contemplates his actions, grappling with the realization that he has become the very thing he dispossessed, a murderer. Yet, amidst this turmoil, he experiences a twisted sense of satisfaction, believing he has exacted justice upon those he deemed deserving. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.